Hey everybody, good morning. It is Sunday morning. I am up, out and about. I have my favorite thing to wear in life is this Aldi sweatsuit. It is the corniest thing ever, but y'all get into it. This mess it's like wearing a blanket around the house. But anyway, the reason I got comfortable because I want to talk about a particular topic today. I've been wanting to talk about it for a minute because I don't know. It's just one of the joys of my doll collecting, and that's Barbie convention, specifically the National Barbie Doll Collectors Convention. I don't know how many of you have gone. I'm sure some of you have. I didn't know anything about Barbie convention when I started collecting. So I started collecting, like I mentioned in my other video, like 2020, right? So I had no idea that the community was the community in the beginning. And I can't even tell you when I realized that Barbie convention was even a thing. I had no idea. But what I do remember is that when I found out, I jumped on it. I was like, oh, I think this is something I want to go to. So I went to the website, and that's when I found out it was sold out because I didn't know anything about how Barbie convention works. So one of the things about it is that once you get in, you're like in for life if you just keep going every year. And you get an opportunity to go when like somebody cancels, somebody doesn't go, right? I didn't understand that. But I did see that there was a waiting list. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get on the waiting list. And the waiting list was for the actual event and for the hotel. So I was on two waiting lists. So I was like, what do I have to lose, right? I didn't know how long it would take, but I was like, okay. So I put my name on both lists and then just went on about my life. Didn't think a whole lot about it. Just went on about my life. Okay. I want to say it was 9 months. Seriously. And if it wasn't 9 months, it was longer. But I'm pretty sure it was around 9 months before I got a call saying there was a slot available. Oh, and another thing about the wait list is first come, first serve. So whoever's name is at the top, they just go through that list. So they got to me and they were like, would you like a slot? And I was like, yes. And I want to say registration was like $495. Don't quote me. It's more now, but at that time, I want to say it was somewhere around there. So I had a specific window to pay that amount to like lock in my slot. That is super expensive. And I really did feel a way, but I also kind of felt like this might be a special opportunity. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I went ahead, got my registration, but I did not have a hotel yet. I was still waiting on a hotel room to become available, which it did. Not long after that, I got informed that, I could get a hotel room. So I got a hotel room. Now, you can room with people. People have roommates all the time. I don't room with people, and I'll get into that later while I don't. So I got a room for myself. And then I ended up going to my first Barbie convention. Now, here's the thing. When you go to convention, and those of you who go and have been going much longer than me already know this. This is probably for the people who haven't gone or who are interested in going. You sit at a table with 9 other people. So it's 10 of you at a table, and then there's a table host, somebody who's like responsible for the table, make sure everybody has what they need. When gifts are given out, they are responsible for keeping those gifts under the table, under wraps until it's time to reveal them. They have all sorts of duties that they do behind the scenes just to make sure that we all have a pleasant experience. And they take it pretty seriously, which is really nice. You can get assigned to a table before you go. Like you may have friends that y'all sit with every year, but if you don't, I didn't. You can ask on the Facebook group because once you register, you get put into this Facebook group of all the other attendees, and you can say, "Hey, I'm one person. I want to sit at a table," and you can either sit at a table that gives gifts, or you can sit at what's called a non-gift giving table. Because throughout the event on several nights are designated to giving each other gifts, among the people that you sit at the table with. So I wanted to sit at a gift giving table, and I found somebody who was like, yeah, we have a slot. So I sat at that table for my first convention. And they were lovely people. I didn't know anybody, but they were welcoming, and I was nervous about the gifts because they say, oh, it doesn't matter, you can give gifts, but you don't want to sit at a table and everybody's giving gifts and you're not giving anything. So I was nervous because I was like, I don't really know like what to get, because there's what people say, but we all know, if you've lived long enough, there's what people say, but there's the underlying cultural aspect of things. So in other words, somebody may say, oh, we don't really care what you give. But I have noticed that people really like handmade gifts, right? It's not that they'll shun you for not doing it, but it's kind of an underlying cultural thing that is really something that people value. So anywho, so I found my home. I had my table mates, and yeah, and those are the people you sit with for dinner, for the events. There's like auctions that go on. There are shows. There's a fashion show that happens. My first year, I didn't go to the fashion show because here's the thing. My first year of Barbie convention, I was overwhelmed. It was so much for me as a newbie to take in. Imagine this. Imagine that you are a doll collector, as you are, but you're the only one that in where you live, in your vicinity. Like there's your friends don't collect, your family doesn't collect. There's nobody in your circle that collects. That was me. So when I got there, just to see hundreds, because Barbie convention, I think the attendees, it's like 850 to 900 people, somewhere around there. Hundreds of people just like you. Hundreds of people where when you meet and say, hi, my name is Teresa, they say, oh yeah, hey, my name is Jane. And, and there's no explanation as to why you're there, because we're all there for the same reason. We all collect. There's no qualifying it. There's no, well, I collect. They get it. Everybody gets it. And when I tell you, that is one of the loveliest feelings of being at convention, because despite the age, the color, where people are from, we are all doll collectors. And it is nothing like being in a place like that. And you got people with Barbie merch on. You got people who dress up, like really go all the way out. And then you got people who just chill. And that leads me to the theme. So every convention has a theme. This one, I think for 2026, y'all will get me again in the comments if I'm wrong. It's traveling in style, I think. So it has a travel theme, but every one has a theme. I want to say my first one was a doll for all seasons. And so there was like, they had a little diorama set up where you could take pictures of your travel Barbie, and it was like the different seasons, fall, spring, winter, summer. So really they go all in about the themes. And that theme carries over into how you dress on certain nights. So I know this year we're trying to, get together how we want to dress. And again, you don't have to. That's the nice thing about it. You have some people who just wear t-shirts and shorts the whole time. But you have other people who are going to be in Barbie merch. You have other people who are going to be just dressed to the nines. You kind of do whatever you want. I've never really dressed to a theme. The last night I usually do Barbie pink, but I haven't really been into the themes. But I think this year I'm going to try, because our table seems to be really excited about it this year. So yeah, so that's that part. It usually starts like Tuesday or Wednesday, and then we'll continue to Saturday. And then Saturday, that last night, is like the main event, so to speak, because that's when we get our convention doll. So every year we get a convention doll. That doll is designed by somebody at Mattel. And so it is unveiled on Saturday evening. So you don't know what it is. You don't have any idea. You don't know what it looks like. You just know that you're going to get this convention doll. And so that's really fun because, you get to, we all count down 5, 4, 3, and then we all open it at the same time. And to keep it real, doll collectors are passionate. And so sometimes people, if they are thrilled, they will show it. If they are disappointed, not sometimes, you will see that too. Yeah. So, and that is one thing I will say about convention really shows you the passion of collectors. Another thing that I also learned from being there is that I'm an out-of-box collector for the most part, and I display most of my dolls, but you have people who collect in all sorts of ways. You have people who have huge collections, people who have a more curated collection. But I think one of the most interesting things I found out when I went to convention, and I went to a workshop, because they have workshops there, so you can go and you can learn you something too. That's like, if I do a workshop, I'm not as much for the hands-on ones, but the ones that, I guess they're not workshops, but they're more presentations. Oh, love them. You learn so much. Anyway, I was in a presentation and the people in the room got to talking. The most interesting thing I found out was some people collect and they leave their dolls in the shippers. I did not know that was a thing. I did not. I know people do inbox, right? People do inbox. I did not know that people left their dolls in the shippers, the brown box, and just stacked them up. And that gives them pleasure. And when I heard that person speak about that, and another person co-sign and say, me too, that's when I realized this community's way of enjoying their dolls is too diverse for me to really have any commentary on it, right? People are getting their joy out of these dolls however they get it, right? So I was like, okay, hey, if you like it, I love it. Get in where you fit in. You know, it's all good. But that was a surprise to me. I'm not gonna lie. The designers come to convention, so you'll get to meet a lot of your favorite designers. They will usually do a presentation, but they will also be around. Girl, they will party, because we also have like a couple of club nights where everybody get together, start dancing. They are fun. And the designers are there. They are so down to earth and friendly and like literally dancing. Like you're dancing and you look over there and like angels dancing over there, right? You know, it's crazy. That was like crazy to me, that they were just so down to earth, and it felt like at their heart they are collectors also. You know, there are opportunities to get your doll signed. So there are times where you know, the designers will be at tables, and you can bring your dolls. You know this in advance who's going to be there, so that you can bring the dolls that you want them to sign. I'm not really big on that, being an out-of-box collector. I did that one time and I ended up throwing the box out when I took my doll out. I don't resell my dolls for the most part. I really don't. So that is not something that I will wait in that line if I want to meet somebody, right? If I just want to meet you. I don't really care about you signing anything, but I just want to meet you. But so yeah, so I may do that or I may not, but some people are super into that. You have people who literally have like a wagon full of dolls so that they can get their favorite doll designers to sign them. So that's really cool. But built into convention, you know, you can do what you want. I found that my first year, I wanted to do everything. I wanted to do all the workshops. I signed up for a bunch of workshops. I wanted to take in everything. And that's why I got exhausted and didn't go to the fashion show the first year. I did so much and ran myself ragged that I was absolutely worn out. I remember one of my friends was like, they were like, the fashion show is one of the highlights. You're not going. I said, physically, I can't. I have plumb worn myself out. So the second year I went, I didn't do that. I think I maybe signed up for one workshop, but I much more just floated around and kind of just did what I want. Let's talk about shopping opportunities. So at some point during convention, the sales room floor will open. And when the sale room floor opens, you have all of these vendors from different places. They have the dolls that they're selling set up. So you walk into this room and it's this huge room and dolls as far as the eye can see, from vintage dolls to when Barbie's inception happened, all the way to the doll that came out last week. You will see everything. You will see dolls in the hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You will see a doll that is $5. So you can find something in your budget. And what I have learned to do is make a list of grails or things that I'm looking for. Now, I don't stick to that, but I have like my grails that I want. So in the back of my mind, I can start looking. And but what happens from year to year, you get to know which sellers are your faves. So when you go in, you look for them. Okay, these are my people that I know they're going to have stuff that I like, right? And that's something I didn't have the benefit of my first year. But once you get to know them, you're like, okay, these are my favorite people. I'm going to hit them first. And then after that, I'll start hitting the other booths. But it's an exciting time. You see dolls that you didn't even know existed. Like, I saw this redheaded doll. I'm actually looking at her across the room. I didn't even know she existed, and I have a thing for ginger dolls. And I was like, what? And that's how it is sometimes. You're like, what? I saw a black Skipper. No, it was black. It was black Stacy, I think it was. And I freaked out. Like, you know, certain things that you didn't even know existed. Sometimes you can find a great deal. Personally, I felt like the dolls were a little bit more expensive last year to me. But the year before that, like, I got some great dolls at great prices, you know. And then, of course, if you get to know people, sometimes they'll come down on the price if it's one of, like, somebody you regularly shop from. And then you kind of just get cool with people, you know, as you learn them. So yeah, but something happens, a shopping opportunity happens before the sales floor opens. Before the sales floor opens, there is something called room shopping. And I'm going to tell you, it's not an official part of convention, but again, like I told you, there's official things and then there's culture. And so this is what I would call part of the culture of convention, is that before the sales room opens, there's a few days before that, usually starting on Saturday, because conventions tends to start around a Tuesday or Wednesday, but starting that Saturday before, room sales will open. And that means that people are selling dolls out of their room. And the distinction here is, on the sales floor, on the official Barbie sales floor, you can only sell like Barbie and Mattel, like, you know, I mean, you may see other stuff, but for the most part, you know, it's focused on Barbie, Mattel, Ken, all the official stuff. During room sales that start like usually that Saturday till Tuesday, they are selling everything. When I tell you everything, everything. IT dolls, Tonner dolls, any line you can think of. People are setting up their hotel rooms and selling that mess. And I can't tell you the deals I have found, the unique dolls I have found. It is, room sales is probably, even though it's not like an official event, it is not probably, it is hands down mine and a lot of other people's favorite part of being in that convention time frame or space. There's a couple of reasons why. Like I just mentioned, you're finding these deals. You're going in there and you're like, oh, I never saw this doll before. Like, what is this? You're able to negotiate with the sellers. You could do that on the sales floor too, but you could also do it in room sales. But the nice thing about room sales is it's just the sellers are just chilling on their bed or in a chair or whatever they're doing. And you just come in and you start looking. And then, you know, you just say, hey, and you may say, hey, how low you trying to go on this? What it do? You know, and you just get into these discussions. And then one of the highlights of room sales, because it is kind of like laid back, is you get to talk to people. Now, I can't tell you some of the personal conversations I have had with people shopping in their rooms, and then they just open up about who they are as people. So, you know, the dolls and the collecting, once again, like it often does, bringing people together. There are times I have gone to buy dolls. Like one time I went into this lady's room. I bought something from her, but I think I stayed there maybe 45 minutes. And we were just talking about life. And she was maybe like 15, 20 years older than me. So she was, you know, dropping some knowledge on me about some stuff. And she had lost her husband, but she was back in the dating pool at her age. And so this started as a business transaction, but it moved into us having this really deep, organic conversation. And I don't know, I would say that's not a rare thing to happen. You know, I was shopping in someone's room, and I went back later to get a doll that she was going to have for me, and I came back to the room, and she had something really serious happen in her family. And from that point on, I see this person every year, and I'm just those connections that you make. I found that I live in Kentucky. I found a couple of Kentucky collectors just by being in a room and saying something about Kentucky. Oh, I'm from Kentucky too. What? That's how I found out about the Louisville Doll Club, which is one of the local clubs to Kentucky. It's like an hour away from me, but I was able to join, and that gave me a connection to local doll collections. I didn't know about that until I was in one of those room shopping and running my mouth and having this great conversation with these people. And then I found out this person was from Kentucky, and they're like, "Are you part of the Louisville Doll Club?" I was like, "No, what's that?" And so then I joined, and I go to their events every month now. Matter of fact, one of the Louisville, Kentucky Doll Club members, she is at my table this year. So it is so exciting to have somebody who is in my local doll club at my convention table this year. I find that particularly exciting. And just to speak on the tables that you sit at, every table has their own vibe. So I've sat at, I have a note here because I know I don't remember. I started going to convention in 2023, so I've gone for 3 years so far. But when I think of the different tables that I sat at, everybody has their own vibe, but the people have just been like, lovely, supportive. Like the second year I went, I had bought some gifts, and the bag that they were in for the last night, I lost my bag, and those gifts were not cheap. I had got bracelets for everybody, and each part of the bracelet had a different picture related to Barbie. I lost the whole bag, and I felt so bad showing up at the last day without any gift for anybody, and they were just like, "Think nothing of it. It's fine." You know what I'm saying? So everybody has their vibe. I've never sat at the same table before. I always switch every year. A lot of us do. Some people have their groups. Some people switch. But last year I sat with a table, and I'm sitting with the same table again this year. The only difference is the table host is different because you put your name in a pot and your name gets pulled. So there's no guarantee that you're going to be a table host from year to year. So the table host that we had last year, it will be a different person, but we'll be sitting together, barring, I believe, 3 people that won't be sitting with us. So 3 new people have been added to the group. And we have an Instagram chat that we all talk in regularly, which is great because the months leading up to convention, you're all in the group chat, like talking and sharing. And so by the time you get to convention, you feel somewhat connected to these people that that are not in your everyday life, but are in a way because of the, regular chat. Like, we joke, doll release come out, we share, something's on sale. Hey, everybody, this is on sale. Or, hey, a leak just happened. It's really fun because, again, if you don't have doll collectors like in your vicinity, I can't speak for everybody, but I don't think I'm alone, that one of the fun parts about collecting is sharing it. You hear me talk about the community a lot because to me, it's the dolls, but it's also the people that make this fun. The different types of people, how diverse they are, yeah. So, that's just a great part of it. But this year, so I'll read my notes and tell you, my first year was in Orlando, Florida. I'm right, that was Barbie, A Doll for All Seasons, that 2023. 2024 was in Palm Desert, California. And that theme was Mystery on Dreamhouse Drive. 2025 was Louisville, Kentucky last year, which was an hour away from me. So I did not have to fly. I was able to drive. That was in Louisville, Kentucky. The theme was Icon, with a focus on Barbie as a fashion original and enduring icon. I cannot tell you what a joy it was to not have to fly and just to be able to drive to that hotel. But I still do stay, even though I was only an hour away. I did not go back and forth every day. I stay on site because, again, there's so much happening on site. Like, I want to be there. Like, I don't want to be home. So I take off work my first year, I was self-employed, so I had to work and bank that money. But now I have a full-time job, so I get to use PTO, which is great. I love it. But yeah, I stayed the whole time. And on that note, as far as how long you stay, so of course people fly in at different times. Now, my first year, again, like if Barbie convention starts on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I think it's typically Wednesday, but don't quote me. I got there on Saturday, my first time in 2023. And I had a friend, and you know who you are. They were like, "You so extra. Why you coming so early?" But I was so excited, and I wanted to get there early, and I wanted to be able to do room sales because, again, I hadn't done that before. So I got there early Saturday, and so I was there several days before convention even started, and I lived my best life. When I tell you, all 6 foot of this plus size girl was laid out at the pool in her bathing suit, because that year they had like several pools in different places at that hotel, and I was just relaxing and enjoying myself. So then when at a certain point the convention attendees start coming and the vibe changes, the energy starts. But before that, it was just like a relaxing vacation. What is it they call the something before the storm? See, I'm messing up my idioms and all that kind of stuff. But the point is, it was laid back until it started popping. Let's say that. So I did that first year, but it was expensive because we don't stay at cheesy hotels for the most part. Those hotels cost a bit of money. So it was an expensive padding of the time, but it was worth it. I didn't do it again. 2024 and 2025, I didn't do that again. I kind of showed up close to the time that convention started. And you know what I realized? I prefer to get there super early, 3 or 4 days before. It felt more like a vacation for me. And this year, I don't plan to do a lot of traveling this year. I did a lot of traveling last year. I don't plan to do a lot this year. So I really want to take advantage of this time to use this as Barbie convention, but also my vacation for this year. So this year, I decided to revisit what I did that first year, and I'm going to get there Saturday and just like stay the whole time. And again, that same friend was like, "Oh, you being extra again?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm being extra." But yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's anything. I think those are the highlights. I think those are the main things. And if you want to go to convention, I mean, what negatives would I say about it? The only negative for me is that it's very expensive. And if you're not going to a local convention like I did last year when I was in Louisville, and I was able to load up my car with everything I bought and drive home, when that doesn't happen, like if I'm going to California, I'm going to Florida, it takes a little bit of finagling to figure out how am I going to buy all these dolls and get them home. Some people ship their dolls home. What I do is I bring, and I know this may sound crazy, but I bring a huge empty suitcase. When I pack, I usually travel with a backpack. I'm one of those people. I don't wear makeup. I'm a very simple person. I do dress up sometimes, but for the most part, for God's sake, I'm in an Aldi sweatsuit. So you already know where I stand as far as fashion. Very simple. I pack packable fabrics that, easy to fold and break down. And so, yeah, I've got my backpack and my toiletries and everything in here. But that suitcase, I bring a huge empty suitcase. And when I go to convention, by the time I'm done, that suitcase is literally filled to the brim with dolls. Another thing that I learned from other people at convention is, because I'm an out-of-box collector, take the dolls out of the boxes before I pack them. Because I can buy more dolls that way. If I take them out of the package and then put them in my suitcase. Because what's the point of keeping the boxes when I'm going to throw them out anyways? It's very rare that I keep my dolls in box. I have about maybe 10 to 15% of my collection in box, and for reasons, but most of them don't. So, I've kind of had to learn. But yeah, that empty suitcase is like, that's That's a Barbie life hack. Like that thing saves me, because when I tell you something about me, let me tell you something about me. When I go to Barbie convention, we gonna shop. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're gonna shop. And we ain't telling ourselves no a whole lot during convention. Like, it's rare for me. Rare is the wrong word. I don't think I tell myself no. Because it's the one time in the year where I'm around a plethora of dolls, like just dolls everywhere. So I go and I spend a coin. So when we're talking about negatives, that's one of the things I would say. To me, it is expensive. Now, there are some people that I've met who are pretty, they're frugal, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not frugal with Barbie convention. There are just a lot of dolls I see, and I plan for it. You know, I know in my head what my budget is going to be. To be honest with you, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, between hotel, especially when I'm staying extra days, hotel, feeding myself, and the main thing is not wanting to tell myself no, I usually bring about $4,000 with me. Or like, planning that in my head, that's what I'm going to spend. I'm not going to carry that kind of cash around, but you know what I'm saying? Because it's just very easy to spend that kind of money, and it's, and without having to worry and pinch, but you have to plan for it, right? So I plan for it. But I know my first year, I remember being shocked at how much money I spent. And it's not that anybody's taking advantage of you. It's like, you're going to come back with a ton of dolls. Now, can you have fun without spending that kind of money? You can. If you decided, well, I'm not going to buy any dolls, but I'm just going to enjoy the experience, you definitely can do that. Remember, you're going to be getting your convention doll. There are usually other gifts built into Barbie convention. Like, we usually get some outfits, or last time we got a couple of things last time, but the years before that, we really got some good stuff. So yeah, you can definitely do that. So I don't want to make it seem like you won't have fun, but for those still curating their collections, I have seen people at Barbie convention who have the dolls they love, and they're just going there for the connections. I hear a lot of people say that. I'm here for my lifelong collecting long collections, collector friends. Like, that is literally the draw. They're not there for the events anymore. They've been going for years and years. They are going to reconnect with their friends, their dolly friends. For somebody like me, who that is a part of it, but I'm still building my collection. So acquiring grails or acquiring very special dolls. I don't tend to just buy your more random run-of-the-mill dolls. I really like to buy special things when I'm at convention. So you have some choices there. If you want to go in a more frugal way, or if you want to do like some of us who just really like, yeah, this is my opportunity once a year to really get a lot of the things I want. But this has been a longer video. I knew it was gonna be. Hopefully you maybe you were cleaning your house or something if you listened to this whole thing. But I knew this was I couldn't do like a 3-minute a 3-minute short or anything like that, because Barbie convention is just, it's too great and it's too fun for all that. You know what I'm saying? It is one of the joys and the highlights. And if you are curious, I hear some people say, oh, I've heard people say this. They're like, I think only elite people go. Honey, in my Aldi sweatsuit, there ain't nothing elite about me. Nothing. If anything, I think I'm one of the more dorky people. Always kind of have been my whole life, in a lovable way. But, I'm not really like, your cool kind of person, because I just am who I am. But I just happen to, I'll tell you that about me. I am a persistent person. And I was like, what do I have to lose by putting my name on this waiting list? And from that waiting list, I've never missed a convention. And because I haven't missed one, I am guaranteed a slot every year. And so yes, if you are thinking that you want to be able to go ahead and, put your name on a list. If it's not this year, for next year, put your name on a list. You will find people you connect with. You will. I showed up knowing almost no one the first year. But if you are a friendly person, and I didn't say outgoing because we're not all outgoing, right? We got introverts and extroverts and ambiverts. But if you are a friendly person and you are yourself, and friendly doesn't mean, I can be a little extra, but that's my normal personality. You ask my Dolly friends, that's just me. Some people are more subdued. But you can still be friendly, right? That's you being friendly. You will find the people you connect with, whether that's on the dance floor, and girl, we dance. Let me tell you something. We kind of rug at Barbie convention. I got a couple of videos on my Instagram showing that. But if it's not on the dance floor, I've met people on the dance floor. If it's, eating, if it's just chilling in a corner, if it's, oh, I like your outfit, you are going to meet people that you gel with. And those people are going to become your Dolly friends. And what more can you ask for? What more can you ask for? So I will leave it there. We're at 35 minutes now. I will leave it there, but hopefully you got something out of this, and I would love nothing more than to meet some of you who are in my comments one day at convention. And you know what? That's convention, but there are also other doll shows. So in another video, I won't go there now, but last year I had my first experience at a local. I say local because it was one of the big doll shows. But it might have rivaled Barbie convention, even though it didn't offer half of what Barbie convention offered. So I'm going to talk about that. We'll make a video about that, but we'll leave it here for now. I hope you all have a great Sunday. Thank you for being here on my channel with me. I read every comment. I respond to every comment. I love hearing y'all's stories. I appreciate the compliments. I just truly appreciate you being here because, like I said, in sign language, you can show priorities on your hand, right? So if these are priorities or this is what you value, this would be the most important, and they get less and less, and this would be the least important. And for me, the dolls are here, but the people in the community are here. And to me, that is the best part of collecting dolls. So I hope to see you all, but if not, I will definitely share my experience in July of this year, 2026. I'll be going to convention. I already have my room booked. I have to get my flight. I haven't done that yet. I will definitely be showing you. I may go live a little bit, and yeah. So we'll look at it. We'll see what's going on there. All right, everybody, take care.